Another session of our weekly video series going live with our amazing communities. And I'm really excited to tackle a very important topic, and that is the topic of the shesession and what we should be doing to create a better environment for women to find opportunities to thrive in a career and job market that is not looking so hot for women these days. So, Jill, welcome. Maybe introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you're seeing the trends within the job market and what's going on right now.
So yeah, thanks. My name is Jill Valentine. I am one of the co-founders of YouGo Travel for Change and a transformative travel and social impact coach. And so what we do is we actually help people to find their purpose, find more meaning, whatever it is that kind of gives them that sense of more in their life. Maybe it's more giving back, deeper relationships, sense of community. And yeah, I've definitely been paying attention to what's been happening. And oh my goodness, there are so many factors and things involved in women and the workplace right now. And the high rate of women who have ended up leaving the workplace because of just the high demands of having kids at home, running schools, or being let go from jobs because of, the pandemic. There have been so many things. And there's actually a study was done, and it showed that between men and women, there's about 23% of women versus only 13% of men considering leaving the workforce for those with children under 10. And then it became more balanced, about sort of 10% for those without children. So what I was seeing is that clearly, and that was sort of under 10. And then for those that are just parents overall, it was, about 18% for women. Again, same, about 10% for men. And it's really showing that having young kids at home is a big influence right now in either people's decisions to not be working, women's decisions, and just showing the real struggle that women are experiencing right now. I know I just had to organize camp for my 6-year-old for the summer, and oh my gosh, I am so excited, like counting down the days because between having her at home, trying to run my own business, we just got a new puppy, like it is chaos here on a daily basis. Yeah. And the spots are limited this year because of COVID. There's even less spots. And I was thinking, like, shouldn't there be more? Like, shouldn't there be more affordable spots, especially from the cities? I get it. Private camps, there's only so much they can do. But, if there's the I understand traditionally a lot of the camps may only use, some of the main community centers. Yeah. In my mind, we need to be getting creative. It doesn't cost them anymore. They have the permits and access to the schools, to other places. And it's just hiring additional camp counselors, that kind of thing. To me, this is some of the ways that we need to be addressing and allowing women to get back to work, to rejoin the workforce by providing affordable, childcare solutions. And limited camp options is not supporting. We need to be expanding, if anything. People who might normally have taken the summer off to be with their kids, that's not an option this year. So anyways, that's just me diving right into the conversation. Yeah, no, I love it. Topic. But that's, been so many people's realities. And there was a long lineup. I was up at like 6:00 to line up in person to secure my spot. And I don't live in Toronto. I know that's normal for Torontonians to need to jump on those City of Toronto spots. I'm up in East Gwillimbury and there was lineups. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I don't get her in, the prices of some of the really private camps make it really unaffordable.
Yeah.
And again, limited spots. So even those programs have much smaller capacity this year. So I don't understand how this hasn't been looked at and addressed by the government. They all need to be stepping up and helping with women returning to the workforce, or re-engaging, whatever that means. I know some people, it's just physically returning to an office, or just having the break to be able to work from home without the stress that we've all been under for the past few years. We have this possibility for kids to be together. Let's create the opportunities so that women can just have some return to normalcy, to not be pulled in 10 different directions on a daily basis.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that personal story. I mean, I know you have a younger child, so you need something like it if you want to rebuild your business, and your business was hit really hard by Yugo Travel for Change, and Yugo Impact was really hit hard by the pandemic. And probably turned your life upside down. So you do not need the stress of not being able to find adequate summer camp solutions. Not to mention that studies are showing that children need to get back to being with other children in person. It helps with the anxiety, especially when they're going to hopefully be returning to school in September. That in-person presence after all the screen time may be a bit intimidating for some children. So we really need to give our children those opportunities. And as you said, they need to be affordable. I know we have like a national strategy on childcare that is looking at affordable childcare similar to Quebec, which is great. But these things take so long, and we need to be doing more. So I'm really glad that you brought. I'm really glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, and I say that from a place of extreme privilege. Like, I have one child who's very adaptable, resourceful. She's been able to log on and off herself at 6 years old, and is literally kind of leave her for the day, and except for harassing me like, "Mommy, I can't hear," or snack time and that kind of stuff. I've been really fortunate, and I know there are so many others with way more difficult situations, whether it's financially or multiple children at different ages, those with learning disabilities, social emotional situations, neurodivergent issues, like all sorts. So I've been blessed, and I have resources, and I have found it a struggle. And so I cannot imagine what a lot of other people with less privilege are dealing with right now. And even we need to be addressing making sure women have the time to go get vaccinated, have time off from jobs, not only to get vaccinated, let's be real, have time to book, have time to be like, it's a privilege to sit in front of a computer all day and be there trying to search for these vaccine appointments. If you're working in a non sort of desk environment, you're not able to be jumping online constantly. So when are they going to be able to find, are we supporting and having things in place for, people like that, single moms who are working potentially a retail job? They can't be on all day, and they're the front, they're actually in great need of the vaccine. So there is so much going on in terms of women and the workforce right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what the challenges that we're having are tough for people like us that, have some privilege in terms of, we have homes, and, we have business security, although, that doesn't feel so secure right now, but in this economy. But at the same time, we have privilege, but, for marginalized groups, like single moms, like newcomers, and whatnot. It's so tough. Imagine settling into a new country, and then all of a sudden the world's turned upside down, and you have all of these responsibilities on your shoulders. And yeah, the studies are the studies are showing that women have been hit hardest by the pandemic. It's brought us back 30 years in where we were in terms of numbers of women in the workforce, which is such a terrible setback.
And we were already, they were predicting it was already going to take about 150 years for us to reach equality.
Mm-hmm.
And so step back even further is so disheartening. And yeah, I it's just an awful situation. And I guess the thing is, like, what are some of the solutions? What are some of the things we can be doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a really good question to ponder, and it's part of why we're here today. Is we want to we've identified, and the media has identified, and the government has identified that we have a lot of challenges that women are facing in the workplace. Because they're in a lot of times in service industries and in the industries that were hit really hard. Sometimes women were taken out of positions not because of children, but just because they were let go. And now they're stuck going, okay, well, my industry is being torn apart, and now what do I do? Like, do I try and reinvent myself? Do I look for government support? Like, what do I do? So, I'm really hoping that employers are listening to this broadcast and are thinking about, how their workplaces can support those that are still in their workplace. So hopefully there's some that are still employed. And I think that employers right now need to be patient and understanding of just all the weight that is on the women's shoulders. There's studies that are also saying that men are not doing the same amount of household duties, childcare responsibilities, all that kind of stuff. So there's a I can't even say the word today.
Disproportionate.
Yes, thank you. See, that's why I love you. We can play off of each other. I still can't say it. We're having a challenge with the amount of women that are carrying the extra load in their household. And that includes the childcare responsibilities as well as online school responsibilities, juggling that. To the men that are listening on the broadcast, hopefully, they're a part of the conversation because they need to be a part of the solution. And just because your, spouse isn't complaining doesn't mean that they aren't under a tremendous amount of pressure and stress. And so, what can they be doing to sort of say, like, what's something that I can do to take off your load? Because women just have a tendency to want to take care of their families first. And, that can really lead to a poor balance, and it can impact their careers negatively, which obviously the pandemic has made that happen. So, what can we do about that? Like, what can employers do? What can employers do?
And just on a note, if someone wants to dive further into that whole idea, that mental workload that women carry, and the overwhelm that can result from that, Glennon Doyle's We Can Do Hard Things just had a whole conversation on that, and it was pretty powerful. I got quite emotional because I'm like, that is so many of us, and that societal pressure, and it's almost like we're the general contractor sorting everything, and then our partners are often the handyman that kind of comes in and says, oh, what's my task? And it's like, but you've got all the things and you're handing them these little things to do. But you actually need to go, no, you need to be a contract agent, like you need to be in this with
the project manager,
the project managing piece, not just the handyman who offers to do the occasional task off of your massive, to-do list. Anyway, that's truly a whole other conversation. But what I'm really hoping for is that we go back to not just returning to normal, but that we go back to returning to things that are even better for us. And so for those that have been let go, left for whatever reason, or are just finding themselves in a place where they're like, I don't know if this is the right job for me. My biggest encouragement, I think one of the things that I hope have learned through this pandemic is like, let's take a pause.
Yeah.
Let's look at what is working, what's not working. It has clearly shown us that life can be unpredictable, life can be short. And so why waste it and be, struggle in employment that doesn't make you happy? And that's not to say it means pack up, leave your job, or take, wait for that like just 100% perfect ideal situation. But it's really getting to know yourself. And this is the kind of the work that I do. It's understanding who you are, what are your values, what do you want in life, what are your strengths, what makes you happy on a day-to-day basis within your job. We often look at a job title and it woos us, but what is it actually entailing? What's the team and the culture like? I cannot emphasize enough that so often we're so excited about getting a job and just willing to fit their molds that we're not asking and feeling empowered enough to ask the questions to make sure that it's the right job for us at the same time.
Yeah.
So going in and sort of asking more about the culture, the fit, the expectations. You go in and yes, it's a 9-to-5 job, but is it really a culture that leaves at 5, or is this a workplace that leaves at 8, 9 o'clock, and you're going to be looked down upon if you are leaving to go home to your family? So asking those questions and not being afraid to ask those questions. And again, I mean, we've talked about values so many times, finding a company that's in alignment with your values.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard to say that when, you said like jobs are scarce. And right now I know so many people are feeling, but I just want age. Absolutely. And I'm not saying don't take a job if it's going to pay your bills and everything. Make this a time where you maybe do consider taking the time, potentially a career change. If you've already lost a job, this might be the ripe opportunity to really take a pause. And if you have the resources, take the time to travel. I can't emphasize that enough. Get away from your life. Get away from, it is so hard to think clearly and to think about possibilities with the chaos of our lives, the voices in our heads. I can't say enough, when you get away from it, even if it's going, right now just to somewhere, in Muskoka for a weekend.
Yeah.
Truly, I mean, if you can get away, like to a country that's opens its borders and everything, that's a real opportunity to just really take the time to think about what you want in life and what's, I think a lot of us have learned how the important things, like really family, time. It's not about working this crazy job to afford the bigger house and everything. So I can't emphasize enough, it's time that we can take. And actually there's an incredible book written that it's by Fotini Akhanopoulos, and it's Say Less, Get More. And it's all about negotiating. And it's about going in and having that ability to go in and ask for what you want when you are applying for jobs, negotiating, getting what you want, having those conversations. It's unconventional negotiation techniques to get what you want. And she's incredible. I've seen her speak at a number of events. I've seen her just workshop and things. She's got such incredible tips and things and techniques, because we know this is another opportunity for women to go in and demand what they're worth, to know their worth and demand their worth, which so many of us, I mean, so many women don't even negotiate. They accept, for offer of salary, which, all of those stats that we've heard, men will go in even if they don't even think they're qualified for a job, where women wait to make sure they're qualified. So this kind of a book and getting your mindset right, your confidence up, I think is going to be really important, because so many of us have been emotionally hit, worn down. We're not feeling our A game right now. If you have been let go, even if it was because of the pandemic, and just, your industry dried up, we're feeling scarcity, we're feeling small. And so making sure we kind of remind ourselves of just how capable, powerful, amazing we are, and going in and demanding it, or asking for it at least. There's no harm in asking, but asking for it at least when we are re-engaging. I think that's another really important thing.
Yeah.
If we are going to try to get back to equality, making sure that what we are going to get paid is equal. Go in and say, I want to work for a company who, appreciates and respects equality and women and our contributions. And is the salary you're giving me, equal to that of men here? All of that. I know it's a hard conversation to have, but it's the ones that we need to be having. We need to be making sure that women are paid equitably. And like you said, employers need to be looking at the possibility that women right now are very burnt out, are exhausted, are at home with kids and all sorts of stuff, and being willing to, whatever it is, cutting down days, yes, less office time so they can be at home more. We've clearly shown people can work from home.
Yes.
Let's take advantage of that. All of that kind of stuff is really possible, great things that we can be taking advantage of as businesses to help re-engage women and to engage them more in the workforce, allowing women to stay at home, because they have been managing. It's been a struggle, but they have been. Women are extremely resourceful and capable.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the fact that we are great multitaskers is, yay for us. But the problem with multitasking is that it leads to burnout. It leads to, being torn in too many different directions and not having that good, powerful focus time, right? Where you're just like one thing, do it one thing at a time. And studies have shown that that's more important, to sort of focus on one thing than trying to do a few things, and spreading your time and not doing them that well. And I love the point that you brought up about salaries. There was a bill that was introduced to bring salary, what the salary amount would be in job postings, right? So to put those salary expectations with that, so that people could know what the salaries are. And that leads to greater equality, because then where you can negotiate, right? Where you're at. And unfortunately, they tabled it, and it went in front of our government, and they said, well, we need more research. We need more time to think about it. So, we're still back at the drawing board. We're still back at, employers all doing different ways of putting out their job postings. And a lot of the times it really is detrimental to women's advancement when they just say, tell us what your salary expectations are in the job posting. No, don't say that. Put what the salary ranges are. That's what we need. We need that in order to better negotiate, to know where the playing field starts, and also whether or not we want to waste our time. I see so many job postings out there as an HR consultant, and I'm focused on supporting women and diverse, leveling up the diverse applicant pool. And so, what I'm seeing out there is a lot of jobs asking for, master's degrees and, all of these MBAs and all this stuff. And it's like $20 an hour, and a lot of times it's for not-for-profits, and you get sucked in thinking that you're working for a company that's doing good in the world, which is great. But, is the salaries equitable, and how they're putting out the job postings, is that equitable? And most times I see that it's not very transparent, and that's what we need. So, and last point I just want to bring up is I love what you mentioned about Glennon Doyle's podcast, We Can Do Hard Things. Her sister had this, I don't know, very passionate discussion or speech, if you want to call it, where she was talking about how, if you were signing up for the job description of a mother, if you found out like that, yeah, you'd be in charge of like all of the play dates, all of the doctor's appointments, all of the medical, figuring out all the medical stuff, setting up vaccinations, such as we are right now, dealing with all of the emotional stuff, and all, just like the crazy amount of things that go into the job description of a mom. Would you sign up for it? I don't know. Sometimes I wonder,
Exactly.
Oh, it's just too much.
It is a lot. Yeah. And I mean, it's such a huge, just like the situation that women are, there are so many facets and so many things. And it's like, yes, we need resources for mental health and wellness right now. 100%. Women are struggling. Therapists
for mental health,
not cheap. For mental health are not cheap. It's hard to find them. There's long wait lists. Like, there are so many ways that as a society we're failing women, and like you said, the fact that we're not posting salaries, and that, let's be honest, companies from day one have said it's taboo to ask someone what they're getting paid. Why? Well, because it means they have to pay more. If you're realizing that your colleagues are get for the same job, people are like, anyways, there's so much around that. I one of my business coaches discovered that her male equivalent at the office was getting paid $100,000 more than her. She created an exit strategy and left, but like just this, and she was rocking it, and just this kind of again, there's so much that this sort of patriarchal society has been putting on women. The fact that there aren't a slew of daycares down at the bottom of those towers around Bay Street is mind-boggling. I can tell you, if men carried the babies and were the primary caregiver, there would be daycares all over the downtown core. But there aren't. Instead, they're like, and they would be super affordable. And I just, that's the kind of thing I don't understand. You have the entire like path system full of businesses. How are a bunch of those not daycare? So women could come down, visit their kids during the day, head up. Like, why we, like, there would be daycares in every single major business and company if men were the ones who literally carried the child and then had to nurse. I guarantee you. Like, I mean, you think you watch Grey's Anatomy, there was a daycare right in the hospital, and it made sense. And why, but why isn't that? And it's because it wasn't necessary before, because the men just got up and left, and their wife was
the women were at home,
breastfeeding and feeding. And it's like, but that's not working anymore. And we need to address that, and we need to make major steps. Like, how do we expect major change without changing? Like, they say that, like, what's the insanity or whatever? It's like when you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. We are doing the same thing. We are running, if anything, less camps, all of that kind of stuff. And yet we're expecting women to suddenly find equality in the workplace, but we're not making any real changes. And it's all on women's shoulders to go in and advocate for themselves and all of that. And it's kind of like, where are the CEOs stepping up? Where are all the men stepping up and saying, this is really important? Where are the companies? Where's the government? Like you said, we need more research. No, you don't. Talk to enough women and they'll tell you, like, there's been more than enough research done on salary inequality that you don't need to go. And that's the kind of stuff that just drives me crazy. And we need to start getting more creative with solving some of these problems, and getting the government on board with that, and getting businesses on board.
With family friendly benefits. I'm so with you there. And I love what you mentioned about the hospital system or healthcare, because those types of industries don't lend to working from home, right? Like if you're a physician, you have to be in the hospital. And so you're right. Like imagine a physician, like my brother happens to be a physician. So I know that, like, especially when he was doing his training and everything else, he would be spending 50 hours in the hospital. Imagine not seeing your child for 50 hours, like imagine. And I know that everyone thinks, oh, well, health, when you're going through your training, you probably don't have children. Well, that's not the case. There's a lot of people that start second careers or go back to school and become physicians. There's an Olympian. I think it's Haley. She's a famous hockey player. She's gone back to become a physician. I'm thinking the woman's name is, her husband owns Good Life. Do you know who I'm talking about? No. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Anyway, she is gone. She's gone back to become a physician, and she has children, and so a lot of people are entering into new careers, and they might have children. They may not be, just getting out of school and starting their lives, right? So I love the fact that you're bringing up that if we offer daycares in major institutions, it would create such a nicer work-life balance, as well as give mothers the opportunity to not feel pulled in so many different directions, and men for that matter too. If it's a male physician and has a child, he could have his child at the daycare center as well. And wouldn't that be amazing to be able to go down, like you said, and see them? So I like that you brought that up. So I guess we'll end it there. And I really love our discussion, and I think it's really a great opportunity, some food for thought on how we can support women in the workplace, and also supporting them in new opportunities. So opportunities for retraining, opportunities for not asking for everything in the kitchen sink on a job posting. And, if you see job postings, repost them and tag a woman who you think who's, looking could find that job posting, because oftentimes it's, when you're applying for things on Indeed, and there's like a gazillion applications, and you got to be strategic about it. And we're going to be talking about strategic job searching success in our next podcast next week. I'm hoping to get on Verity and Sue of My Career Launch to discuss how we can create more strategic success in our job searches, because as you said, it's not easy. But I like the idea of taking a pause, going on a trip, maybe going on a You Go Travel for Change trip, and that program where, for over 3 months, you can focus on, what your greater purpose is. What do you want out of life, and how does that impact your career choices? I know after going on one of your trips, I made major changes in my life, and I've never looked back since. So, I found confidence in myself after going on our Costa Rica trip together. So there's always opportunities. Why don't you show your new puppy to us? Yeah. Oh, so cute.
There. So there
See, there's just another example. Yeah, another example of women multitasking with new puppies. I know I'm in the same boat. Luckily, my husband took the day off, so he's been watching our puppy. What's your puppy's name?
Forrest. Yeah. Forrest Edgar Valentine. Oh. No, we're in the opposite boat. Ian just kind of watched him, and he's like, I gotta go. He actually has to. So this one's with me now, and I was like, because he's been whimpering and whining a lot when I put him.
You know what? I've decided it's not about perfection. Like, it's not about having the perfect screencast. Because you know what? Here's the thing. we are all struggling, and to pretend and to put on this facade behind us that everything is perfect and we don't have children running behind us and there isn't screaming and yelling and lags in our internet. It's all happening. So let's just be honest. And Maya says, me too. I don't know what she's saying, me too, exactly, but I'm thinking that, she's struggling. We're all struggling. So thanks again for everybody who tuned in. I'm so flustered today that I can barely speak straight because I was spending time trying to figure out how to operate this. And technology and all of these extra responsibilities can be exhausting, but we got through it, and we get better as we practice all of the things that we have going on in our lives. So thank you, Jill. Thank you, Forrest. Forrest, awesome. You're not barking. You're being a good little puppy boy. Oh. And so adorable. So Jill, enjoy the rest of your day. And how can people find out about what you have going on with Yugo, your Yugo programs? Tell us a little bit about what you have coming up.
Yeah, I love it. You're a poppy mom. Oh my gosh,
Maya, we hear your pain. It's tough. It's
easy. So honestly, I feel like this is harder than just when I brought Kella home. I'm not kidding. Like this is eyes on her, because Kella was not nibbling and trying to bite everything all the time.
Yeah, and eating socks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, totally. But if you are interested, our upcoming program, Courage Community Kilimanjaro, we have it coming up at the beginning of next year, 2022. It's a 3-month coaching program that includes 2 weeks in Tanzania, a week of volunteering and a week of climbing Kilimanjaro. And it is all about gaining clarity, confidence, so that you can, find the right career, find the right whatever it is, start your business, just live a life that's going to make you happy and feel fulfilled, or to figure out a way to make your current situation better. And you can find me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on, thank you. There's my website, yugo.com. I'm on social media. And we also have the Yugo The More community, which you can join, and it's a community for those looking for more
out of life, right?
Living, more adventure, more all the things. And
I love it. And you have made me more of who I want to be. So Jill, thanks so much. For those of you that are interested in what Women in Biz Network does, please check out our website. I'll just type it in right now. We have a career board for women who are looking for work, and we vet every opportunity so that you can learn about opportunities from progressive employers. So please check out our career board on womeninbiznetwork.com. We also have career services through Be Happy HR. So if you are struggling with your job search and you need some support, please reach out. I guess that's it. Thank you. So, I just want to say to Shakisha, I'm a wife of 2 beautiful ladies, and it's hard to balance my life. Yes, we appreciate how you're feeling. It's not easy. None of us are, and I love the honesty here. I love the vulnerability. I love and appreciate the fact that we can all be honest about what we're going through, and together we are better. So let's all look out for each other and support each other as best we can. And Forrest, you have a very, very lovely mommy.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
That was awesome. Okay. Bye.
Okay. See ya.